All right, well, it's been a little while since we did a Condor knife review here on the channel, so I thought I would go ahead and try to do one today, and I can't seem to get used to this daylight savings time or whatever it is at the beginning of December. It's getting dark pretty early on me here. I kind of let it sneak up on me, so as usual, we're racing the sundown, but the knife we're going to look at today is the Joe Flowers designed Condor Headstrong. And we're going to try a technique that is constantly recommended to me by the anti-batoners in the crowd. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me here. As the sun's going down, as usual, I just can't seem to get used to this daylight savings, and I'm about to run out of time, so we're going to try to make this one sort of fast, but I say that a lot, don't I? But the folks at Condor Tool and Knife were kind enough to send me this really cool Joe Flowers design. It's the Headstrong knife. Now, we took a brief look at this either at SHOT Show or Blade Show. I don't remember which, but like many of the Condors, it comes with a really nice sheath. We're going to talk about all that in just a second, but I gotta say, if you're not familiar with Joe Flowers, he is a student of knife design and knife history, and he just does a really cool job. He's got a really good eye for design. This is a full tang knife. You can see the tang is notched just a little bit for this brass wire here inlay, and that's just, I think that's a really cool design. So let's talk about the specs of this knife real quickly, and then we'll get down to the old stump top and start doing some of that knife stuff. Put the sheath in my pocket for a minute. First of all, the overall length of this knife, let's get where you can focus. I had somebody tell me I need to do the old hand behind the knife thing, so I'm doing that now. It's 7.5 inches or 193 millimeters. Features a 4-inch blade of 1095 polished steel, which is 0.12 inches thick, or that is actually a 102 millimeters long by 3 millimeters thick. A walnut handles with a sleeved lanyard hole here and a pin here. Again, the brass wire wrapping, and it features a really nice Condor welted, handcrafted welted sheath, and it's form fitted, and it is, by the way, really tight when you first get it, so it's a little break in to do there. It's a really deep carry sheath, so pretty cool there. And the price of this thing on Amazon at the time of this video anyway is about $61.43. I have to be really careful not to cut my fingers, so you don't want to slice this sheath. You have to be really careful. I'm sure it would get broken in, or you could probably wet it, steam it, but I'm just going to leave it like it is because I think it'll break in better if I just continue to use it. So anyway, there's that. And I use like a push to get it out. So without just to kind of show you, it fits. I have medium-sized hands. I wear a medium-sized glove. Anyway, it fits my hand perfectly. A little bit of a finger kind of a groove there, cut into almost like a sort of like a choil / handle groove, so your hand kind of fits, my hand kind of fits right in there exactly. It's got a little bit of a thumb ramp here, no jimping, what feels like a sharp spine. We'll check that out. And then a very nice kind of a sweeping belly with a nice little point on it. So nice. How about that? Can you see that better now? A nice little sweeping belly with a nice point on it. There we go. So pretty cool. Hopefully that's enough beauty shots. Let's get down to the old stump top before we get started and start doing some knife stuff. Okay, so let's take it out of the sheath. You can see it's in there pretty good. Again, I just think this is a really pretty knife. I like that. I like that kind of brass wire wrap feature. I just think it adds some class to it. So this is not really a very big knife. I guess you could baton with it if we wanted to. In fact, just in the interest of keeping things consistent. Oh, I don't need that. I've got a little fat wood here. So this is the Home Depot fat wood. It's been kind of out in the weather for a couple days. It's got a little rain on it, not a lot. But we'll go ahead and at least maybe baton that, because this is not a big knife to baton big stuff with. I got a piece of pine here. Maybe this will work as a baton. But we got that, obviously. It's not really what this knife is for, though. This is more like an all-around general use knife with a really nice blade. You could be good for skinning, I think, a skinning blade, a general carving blade, camp task. I'm not much of a skinner, so we're going to go with some general camp task. And you know kind of where we're going to go with this, right? We got fat wood. That should be a hint. But we're going to go ahead and see how well this thing carves some feathers. Now, it's got kind of a, sort of like a semi-flat grind. It's almost a flat grind with a secondary bevel on it. Pretty sharp. It's not razor sharp, but let's just see how well she does. And again, this is some pretty dry fat wood here. Let's try the old favorite standby, the real fat wood. This is the the wild caught variety here. Carve the old oxidized part off. See how well it carves now. Okay, we'll just try that because we're going to do some other stuff besides fire. And that doesn't look like the greatest. Let's just see. I've got the old Exotac Poly Striker XL, and we'll just see. I think that part right there next to the handle is probably the sharpest part of the spine. Let me see if I can get some more. There we go. Try some. There we go. That should do it. Pretty sharp there. It's just that one little spot right there. That little flat spot. Pretty sharp. But I can smell that from here, so we should be able to get some fire going with that. Okay. See, the pull thing just never really works well for me. There we go. So she makes some fire, which is cool. Let's try some other stuff. Don't know if this is going to be able to do it or not. We'll try to split something out. It's about as big as I would want to try to baton with this little knife. But that's a pretty good bit. So let's just see what happens if we bang on it for a minute. So we split that out pretty well there. Not bad at all. We'll try something that several people have recommended that I try, and we'll just do it. We're gonna make a wedge. Let's see if we can. So, I've had a lot of people tell me there's no need to baton wood. You can make a wedge. So why don't we just do that? I've got this carved out here. Go ahead and chop this off some to make it a little shorter or flatter. We're just going to try to do completely cross baton. That's something they don't really think about when they're talking about making that wedge, is you got to make that wedge. And certainly you can carve that out, but it's going to take a lot longer to carve it out than it would be to do this right here. We're going to go ahead and do it anyway. In my mind, you want something kind of flat to hit. At least in my mind. So there we go. Got a nice solid flat wedge. So let's just see what would happen. Pretty good chunk of wood here. Pretty big. Now what everybody tells me is you go ahead and get it started with your knife. Cut a nice little shallow groove in the top. So we're going to do that. Okay. Let me get up here where you can see. Can you see better right here? Okay. So we're going to carve a nice little. Get it started right here. All right. Then we'll open it up. See if we can get that. Maybe have to actually do a couple because it's not wide enough for. I don't think it's wide enough for the wedge to fit in. All right, so that's what they say to do. Now let's see if we can get that wedge in there. I don't know if it's going to go in there or not. Let's just try it. Got the wedge here. See it? Let me back you up a little bit. So we got the wedge about right here. Maybe it'll fit on there. Let's just bang it and see. And looky there, would you look, it's working. Pretty good. Okay, I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with that. Wasn't that hard to make a wedge. Let's just see. I don't know if it's... Let's try one more, just to see if it'll go in there. Doesn't seem to be going in this time. I didn't make my slot big enough. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. We'll keep banging it. I think it might be going. We got a little bit open now. My wedge is getting chewed up, but that'll be okay as long as it works. Wedges are cheap. Okie dokie. Well, there you go. It actually did work. So I have to say, can't teach an old dog new tricks. Okay, well, that was some of the real world testing of the Condor knife and tool Headstrong, designed by Joe Flowers. And I thought it'd just be a good opportunity to check out, you know, a small knife, the ability to make wedges, and try that out. A lot of people are constantly telling me, why do you need a baton knife? I've never had a baton knife. Just make a wedge. So I did, and as you saw, it actually worked pretty good. So I'm willing to admit that I may have overlooked a very useful technique in the past. That being said, it's now time to do the scientific testing portion of the video. And you may know that here at Survival on Purpose Worldwide Headquarters, we maintain a cutting-edge, state-of-the-art knife testing facility. And we're especially proud of our balance, orientation, and rotation device, where we test the balance of fixed-blade knives. Now, I gotta say, this is a pretty fancy handle. I would certainly hate to bang some of this stuff loose in the calibration process, because that's what's really, that's kind of like the critical step in the balance testing, is the distance calibration. But we're going to give it a shot, and fresh green, hopefully. I've kind of calibrated with my eyeballs. Maybe it'll be okay, but I would be remiss if I didn't check the balance on this thing. So let's get to it. Close. We're going to call that one balanced. So once again, that's the Headstrong fixed blade, designed by Joe Flowers, manufactured by Condor Tool and Knife. Very cool little, well balanced, very useful, functional little blade in my opinion. Just got just a good all around hunting, skinning, firecraft, campcraft, opening up boxes, whatever you need to use it for. Small enough to be an EDC style fixed blade with a very nice leather sheath at around the $68 mark, something like that, 65 bucks, give or take a few bucks. So if you've been looking at this knife, wondering about it, hopefully this video has been helpful. Once again, thanks to the folks at Condor Tool and Knife and Joe Flowers for sending me this so I could show it to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. I put out a new video every Friday and Saturday, and very often random videos throughout the week. There's another one right there. If you're not subscribed, please click right there in the corner. Click that subscribe button. Click that little bell next to it so you don't miss a single video. And as always, thank you for doing all your Amazon and online shopping through the Survival on Purpose links. I really appreciate your support. Once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.